Hi, my name is Caleb Como, and I'm going to be doing a speech over the Communist Party of China, or CPC for short. Now, they all started on July 1st, 1921. It was a small group in nationalist China at the time. However, it grew to large proportions during the beginning of World War II. After World War II, they seized control of the nationalist Chinese government and established their own Communist Party. Now, led by Chairman Mao Zedong, after World War II, they wanted to make reformations to the way China worked. And instead of being more of an agricultural, rural nation, they decided on going for a more industrialized standpoint. Now, he named this reformation, which started in 1958, the Great Leap Forward. However, it was also known as the Great Limp Forward because of how much it failed. Now, after 1958, the economic productivity of China collapsed almost completely. And this was a result from a calamity of unfortunate events that the Chinese government described. And while the Western scientists don't see it as a series of unfortunate events, later on in 1960, Mao, the chairman, he apologized to the public for creating this reformation and decided to take it slowly from there. Now, during the Cold War, in the 1989 democracy protests that students held in Beijing, China, it all started on April 15th and was forcibly stopped on July 4th. It was also known as the July 4th incident. Now, you may be wondering what incident occurred on July 4th, and that would be the protests at Tiananmen Square. Now, the Chinese government has since then tried their hardest to cover it up and act like it hasn't existed. However, there has been many that survived the protest and has then forth spoken out against them. Now, after this, in 1994, was the sedition of Hong Kong, where the British government released Hong Kong to Communist China after tension had been brewing and getting stretched. Now, when this occurred, this really set sights on the British Empire and was also known as the last piece leaving the British Empire. Now, when they seceded Hong Kong to China, China had to make some agreements with Britain. And one of them was that they would keep their democracy intact and not be completely ruled over a communist regime. Now, this eventually led to many protests, which were today, at the current event, known as the Hong Kong protests. Now, there are many in Western societies that really would like to help Hong Kong in its current situation. However, they don't want to risk creating tension within China and therefore leave it as that. This has been my informative speech over the Communist Party of China.